What up, guys? Welcome back. We're here to finish the second part of this commentary. I didn't want to just cut you off in the middle, so here's an intro for you. And Shadow speaking right here.
Captain Paul here as well.
So let's get right back into it. Now, in the last video, we were talking about how optimism trumps pessimism, but it takes work, and you have to work at it. Otherwise, you will not reap the benefits. And yes, pessimism has benefits, but the benefits are selfish. They are not selfish as in, selfishness, but as in they are beneficial to you and only you, because you can be pessimistic and be right, or you can be optimistic and be happy. So there's a little bit of benefits from both. I prefer happiness. I think everybody prefers happiness. So anyway, let's get back into it. Paul, you were talking about how
Basically I was talking about how that I kind of separated myself from the people that were all negative Nancy's and they were all just pessimistic all the time. And within myself, I try to be more positive and surround myself with people that are more positive.
Right.
And I've just had a better way of living, to be totally honest. It's been a lot more even with my grades and stuff, and it just it's weird because before I'd get depressed and shit, gone through shit. Now I'm working out and I'm training for a marathon, and I'm running a few miles every day. And
exactly.
It's just I've decided I'm tired of just sitting around and moping. I'm just gonna set out some goals and do them.
Exactly. And see, that's such an improvement in character. I mean, think about it. Any story ever written, any book, any screenplay, any story has a character, right? And this character has a script. This character has a something to play out. The character acts. So you have to change your character to change the actions. For example, you can't make Batman go kill a bunch of people, right? So you got to change the character. Now, I'm not saying change your character into somebody that goes and kills people. I'm just saying you got to change the character to change the story.
Right.
So, what better way than to change from pessimistic to optimistic? It's a much better way to live. Captain Paul over here, a living example, a prime example. I have not given my examples, and I will not, because I want to get off on another topic right quick. Take into consideration what he's been talking about. Think about it. Use it to your advantage, So yeah, Paul, what I wanted to say in the last video, didn't get the time to. Hoping versus expecting. What do you think about that? I mean, are there any ideas that you have right off the bat?
Well, okay, hoping to me, it's there's two different ways of hoping is hoping I get that job and or hoping I get that promotion, or hoping my job my boss notices how hard I'm working. I could put that in a different category. That's if you're working towards it. But if you're working towards your hope, basically, then you'll see results. But if you're just hoping and not really doing anything, you know what I'm saying? If you're oh, I hope I win $1 million, and yet you don't do anything, you don't work, you stay at home and just sit on your ass all day, then that's just not going to happen. That's just kind of foolish hope.
Very interesting perspective.
It's just and even with just expectations, is that it's just kind of the same thing. You expect to let's say if you want to work out, you expect to be running I know I'm just using myself as an example. If you expect to run a marathon, you can't just sit on your ass. You got to be running a couple miles or a few miles every day, or building yourself up. You can't be oh, I want to run a marathon, yet you're sitting around watching TV and just eating Twinkies. It's just not going to work. It's not.
I like your choice of food. Okay, so basically what you're saying is hope is not real unless it is active, unless you actually put forth effort into what you're hoping for?
Yeah, no, that's correct.
Very cool. So you're relating willpower a lot to hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. See, I would not even think of that. I have a very basic definition of hope and a very basic definition of expecting, expectations. I would say when you hope for something, you have two risks. Number one, it doesn't come. So you're neutral. You're not disappointed because you were just hoping for it. You're oh, well, I didn't expect that to happen. Number two, you can have your hopes fulfilled, and you can be satisfied with the outcome that you originally desired. Now, with expectations, you also have two risks. Number one, you can get what you expect and be neutral, which is the equivalent of losing what you hope for, if you remember.
Right.
Number two, the second risk you can get with expecting is not getting it. And when you don't get something that you expect, you're disappointed. You're depressed. You don't like it because you expected it. You know, it's against your understanding of the way things have to work or should be, because you were expecting it. That's more than hope, because it's something that it's expecting. It's something that you believe is going to happen. So when it doesn't happen, you're not left at neutral like you would be with hoping. You're left with disappointment. So when you expect something, you run the risk of neutrality or disappointment. There's no positive anything in there, you know? Why expect things, man? Hope for things. Live your life. Don't expect to get anything, because you only run the risk of being disappointed or staying in the same neutral place. Not moving forward, not getting more positive, more successful, more happy, just staying where you are. You don't want to do that. You want to move forward in life.
That makes actually perfect sense. The way you kind of put it, different from me, is it's kind of like a child, like a selfish child. Instead of like working and earning things, they just expect it. Like they just expect to be given things. Is that what you're kind of trying to say?
Sort of, but it's not really. I mean, in that scenario, other people are involved, you know, because they expect to receive things from other people, you know, because children don't really think about philosophies like life and things. But what I'm talking about is life in general. You know, if you hope to get a job, you can either be, I mean, you can't be disappointed, you know? You can sure be, you know, bummed out, but you can't be disappointed. If you expect to get it, and then they're like, you know what? I'm going to give this position to Timothy. Come on over here.
Fucking Tim.
And Jonathan's sitting there like, what the hell, man? I thought I was going to get that. So he's angry, he's upset, he's frustrated, you know? But if he was hoping for it, he'd just be like, oh, man, that sucks. But hey, Timothy, great job, man. Great job. You know, I'm sure there's another opportunity for me out there. I'm glad you got this one.
You deserve it. You know what I mean? Like, pat on the back.
Exactly. Hoping is so much better than expecting, because you can't be let down. You just can't. And that's why, like, faith is a lot like hoping. Because when we put faith in God, we hope for things. The thing is, so many people expect things from God. And I'm going to get religious here for just a minute. Bear with me here, Paul. Bear with me, YouTubers. Bear with me. I'm doing this. When we put faith in God, we hope. But when we supposedly believe in God and we say, you know what, I'm going to believe in God as long as he lets my mother who has cancer live for the next 5 years. I'm going to believe in God as long as he ends world hunger. I'm going to believe in God as long as he blah, 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 blah. We expect him to do these things, and they're not faith, they're not hoping, they're expectations. And we can't expect God to do something because those are our ideas, our expectations, our beliefs, not God's.
Right.
So they have no place being in God's will. We are but humans to God, so proportionally, I mean, think about that. We can't expect anything of him. We can have faith that he will give us what we desire, but our desires should not be expectations, they should only be hopes. And I want to just make that very clear. A lot of people think, you know, oh, well, God's not real because if he was, he wouldn't let children starve to death or people fight and kill each other. He wouldn't let this or that happen. I mean, come on, guys. God's a busy dude. He's got a lot going on. He's got a lot of different things, you know, to think about. And you guys are thinking very inside the box right now because this, I mean, God's the owner of the universe, right? He knows what is going to happen, what has happened, everything like that. You've only been alive for a few years. God's been alive since infinity, and that's the Bible's account.
Well, like I even have one thing to add to that is like when people, I hate when people say like with wartime especially, it's like, well, if God loved us and there was a God, that there wouldn't be war. You can't be blaming God or higher power on man's mistakes. I might be going a little off topic here, but I just don't agree when people blame God for man's mistake. Like if domestic violence and stuff, I'm like, well, if there was a God, then Rihanna wouldn't got the shit beat out of her by Chris Brown. No, that's human error. I know that was a really bad example to bring up, and I'm laughing.
I like that. That was interesting.
No, it's the truth though. A lot of people that like, oh well, God didn't make me get that promotion. No. God didn't make you get that promotion because you're a lazy shit and didn't do your work. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna get off before I get on a rant on that. But
yeah, and it's a very accurate, or very close addition to this topic. It's not off topic really, people expect things, you know. They expect God to do things. They have these natural expectations. It's not they expect God to do things, but things to be a certain way. And then when they're not that way, they blame it on God as though it was God's job to not make it happen. Like, I expected you to prevent that. Well, it's too bad, you know. You can't expect something of God. You can hope and you can have faith, but you forget there are two teams at play here. Satan has control of the world because of Adam and Eve. God is all-powerful, yes, but he's not going to just, you know, pull a Superman and eliminate all the bad dudes on Earth because you expect him to. I mean, Adam and Eve sinned. They are the curse. The sin has entered the world. That was it. Stop expecting in, you know, half AD, or BC, I mean, whenever it was that Adam and Eve were here. 4000 BC, technically.
Well, like even if you didn't even believe in the whole Adam and Eve story, because I'll admit myself, I don't know if that like actually happened. It's an example that humans and mankind are to blame for the evil that it's done upon itself.
Exactly. And it's like, you know, you hear this in age-old stories and movies and everything like that, you know, oh, well, cursed by his own hubris. You know, it's like humans are to blame for their own actions, and, you know, we reap what we sow or whatever. It's... that was originated by the Bible. I mean, people say, you know, that that's just a movie topic or something like that. But hey, you know what? Yeah, we got it from the Bible. So, I don't know. I'm a Christian. You know, I believe in God. I won't sit here and try to make you do it. I'll present the most logical arguments possible. If you want to argue with me, if you want to sit here and, you know, watch our YouTube videos and listen in, cool. I'm not going to preach to you, though.
You don't even have to believe in God. Well, I personally, I believe in God, but I'm just saying, you don't have to believe in God. You just have to get the morals and the message behind it. You know what I'm saying? If we're basically telling you to, instead of expecting it to be done, it's just take it upon yourself.
Right. This isn't a preachy message video. It's not like, you know, hear the gospel, hear the good news. No, this is like, hey, watch us shoot people in Call of Duty. You know, and meanwhile, you can go ahead and listen in on a couple of philosophical ideas that we have. Anyway, we're closing this video now. We're getting to the end. It's pretty late in. So, Paul, you have any remarks you want to close with?
Basically, if you want to do anything in life, you gotta put it upon yourself. That's all I really have to say.
You gotta work for it. You gotta make that effort. So, yo, this has been Weapon Gaming. Filling in for Weapon Gaming. I thought I'd throw that in there. This is End Shadow, yo.
And this is Captain Paul.
Peace out.
Peace.